in the grand scheme of this game, but you're absolutely right. Millen had a fantastic game last week for California.
Penalty there given by referee Luke Rogan, brought down in the scrum, that near side against Otti Pipoletti. And a first chance now for Legion to gain some territory.
California needed that one so badly. The cards were stacked against them the opening 5 minutes. They haven't had any territory, really not much possession either. They needed something to go right for them, and now they are getting their first opportunity inside of Chicago's 22, and it comes down to this, the power up front. We've talked a lot about the backs. We've celebrated so many of the different playmakers, but really, I think if we ever were to ask Corbisiero who the true heart and soul of the team is, it's always those guys up front. The players up front, they're the pulse of it, and they can lay down some markers like that California team did just now in that scrum.
First, just addressing the forward pack, getting their positions. It's USA Eagle Joe Taufete'e throwing this ball into the line now. Finds Lance Williams at the back. And the Legion now get this driving maul going. They scored 2 tries last week. Joe Taufete'e getting them against the Free Jacks from exactly this kind of area. Getting it going forward continuously now, the Legion. Brought down legally to Meeks. Meeks pokes it through. And it looks as though that will be to nothing. Good work there from Brock Webster, the Canadian fullback. Mike, nearly an opportunity, but well seen it.
Well seen out is right. They had the advantage, so they're going to come back to it. And that's why I was about to question the kick through the middle from Meeks. We talked about how great of a playmaker he is, but your first attack inside the opposition 22 and you put a kick down into the end zone, you had to know that there was an advantage on there because someone like that probably not making that call. You'd be a little bit frustrated if you were playing around him and he's putting a kick through on your first possession a couple meters out from the opposition try line. But nonetheless, here we go. Big Joe to throw it in again. Taufete'e with the line-out throw, only a couple meters out.
Line out in. Jason Dahm, the captain, goes high in the air as they get this march forward. The infamous driving maul. Some fans might even think this is the tush push, but can it be pushed all the way over the line? Brought down, said by Legion, so the free kick will go against them. Mike Petrie, that is good defense from Chicago when it looked ominous.
Yeah, great defense from Chicago as well. They dug their cleats in the grass. They really needed to. They were up against a lot of pressure. California, second line-out throw inside of their 22. That one only meters away. And you and I both know Joe Taufete'e is almost automatic in those situations. Throw the ball in, get to the back of that maul, guide it so well over the line to score. I mean, he was up there with the likes of Keith Wood in international rugby in terms of tries he scored off the back of mauls. He is phenomenal at it. You get a good look at him right there. But that time, Chicago, excellent defensive stand, and they needed it.
Do need it indeed. It's Chicago coming off the back of a great win in Anthem Rugby Carolina this week in their first game at home. Defense and set piece is going to have to be so strong, particularly Legion, who will be bringing that with some of those big bodies. Tonga Kofi at the front of that line out. He is one of them as Taufete'e finds Jason Dahm, who brings it in now for another driving maul. Is this potentially a tactic that Legion are going to employ as this game goes on? It is wet, it is windy here in Chicago. Meeks carries hard up the middle, tackled by Rumble. Now the forwards come round the corner. Taufete'e goes forward. The Legion just making yards. That's Rory Van Voot, the New Zealander, getting into the game. He had a fantastic first match of 2026 MLR season last week for the Legion. Handled the advantage. Gonzalo Bertrano whips it away to that right-hand side with Christian Poidevin. Bit of zigzag play now. We've still got the advantage as Nasingenge gets over a little bit of the line. And a penalty call coming there. And it looks as though the Hounds have, well, ill discipline is costing them and the pressure is building, courtesy of California Legion.
California Legion was taking him through the phases there. They were hanging on to the ball, maintaining possession. You get an early kick here, Will. I mean, you and I have been in these situations multiple times, just outside the 22. Easily within kicking range for your kicker, but instead of taking the 3 points on offer, get yourself on the board early in the game. They go for the corner. I don't know about you. I'm going to take points when they're there kind of guy.
You have a look here. They back themselves, Mike. What do you mean? This is a forward pack who scored tries off the set piece last week against the Free Jacks, the reigning champions who actually lost again yesterday when they took on Old Glory DC. Taufete finds Jason Dahm again. Penalty advantage still. Another one that's going to come towards California Legion. Bertrano at the back there. All the backs are on this far side as they move it then to the edge towards that 15-meter channel. Great tackle coming in there from the number 11, Tidwell. And the penalty advantage, though, is going to come all the way back.
And this is where Chicago has to be careful. They've been under a lot of pressure right now. You see Luke Rogan's going to go have a chat with Lucas Rumble. He has to. And at some point, he might be reaching into his pocket, pulling out a card. Let's see what he has to say.
Luke Rogan has that chat from Lucas Rumble. And like you say, Mike Petrie, there can't be too many more warnings in this first opening 15 minutes, or under 15 minutes. Only 11 minutes on the clock, and already Chicago, even though they did have that first opening try, courtesy of Theo Fori, the hooker for the Hounds. It is now all been about Legion. Just about 10 meters out. Taufete and that man, Jason Dahm, have connected really well at the line out. As that connection once again is the same. Pops off to Taufete. Taufete just gets over towards the 5-meter line. And the turnover is not legal, and referee Luke Rogan looks like he is going to his pocket for a card. He is. And the try scorer, Mike Petrie, Theo Fori, finds himself in the opening 10 or so minutes scoring a try and getting a yellow card.
Look, we all knew it was coming. We just had the warning come in from our referee, Luke Rogan. It was only a matter of time. The pressure has been mounting against Chicago. They enjoyed all the territory and possession right out of the gates. They came out storming. But so far, California has been mounting pressure on them, and a lot of it has been off the back end of that man right there on the ground, Joe Taufete. His line-out throws have been spot on, and they've been able to get a really good set-piece platform off of these mauls.
Taufete, guess what? Finds Jason Dahm. It's 5 penalties now Chicago are given away, and it's only the opening 12 minutes. Taufete at the back, the USA Eagle, creeping towards the line as now all the backs look like they're coming in. It's another penalty advantage. Referee Luke Rogan blows his whistle again, and it looks as though it's going to be the same story. Surely this has to be another yellow card.
Number 5, please. Okay, so it's the last one. Yeah. Sorry, be number 6. Okay. Sorry, number 6. 6. My apologies. I'll explain it in 1 second. This one, repeated infringements down here, and this player has swum up the side on the outside. It's a yellow card. We can't continue to do this. You're going to keep losing players if you keep giving penalties away.
Another man to the sin bin, the dog house, as we showed earlier in the pre-game show here on Sunday Night Rugby. You're joining us on ESPN2 and many other places around the world. They're going for a scrum now, really putting it on.
You know exactly why. Coming straight up forwards off the field right now. Their hooker, as you mentioned, and there's Mason Flesh. They're both in the doghouse, so they're going to be too short, which means in this scrum, they're going to try to get a big push here, and I think we'll try to earn themselves a penalty try, because right now Chicago's got a lot to do to try to keep up with the 8 forwards up front for California Legion. They're going to have to throw a few backs in there. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever played in that position where you just get thrown onto the back of the scrum, it's not a friendly place to be when you're wearing double digits on your back. But here we go. Front row replacement has to come on for safety purposes. We had mentioned that Fari was out for Chicago, the hooker, so they have to bring in a replacement. So up we go. One of the backs has to step off now for Chicago. And so we'll see how this one holds up. Chicago right now showing that they're going to go into this scrum with 7 players. So notice that there's no anchor at the base of that Chicago scrum. They are going to be under immense pressure right now from this California Legion forward pack.
It's Jackson Zabiric who comes on to replace, as you just said there, Mike Petrie, to make sure they got a full front row.
Right, let's hold it. Both sides.
You've got to say, in these games, having such an early 50 minutes of causing so many penalties, you want to be on the right side of the referee.
always, especially early in the game, as you mentioned. You want to develop that rapport. You want to develop that relationship. And right now, Chicago is just literally backpedaling, and only because of their own fault in these penalty situations. But again, it comes from so much of that pressure that California is putting on them.
The Argentinian international, Gonzalo Bertrano, will put this ball in 5 meters from the Hounds line. Deciding which way to go. The push comes on now from the back, and Timpson keeps it to himself as he gets over the line. No! He drops it, but it's another penalty. It adds to the tally. And what do California Legion do here? And what does Luke Rogan, the referee, do about his decision-making?
Luke Rogan's going to have his hand forced in a moment. That second push from California, again, put Chicago under so much pressure. They had a really good initial hit. Chicago was very strong in maintaining their posture, maintaining their platform. And then again, they are playing with an extra player in that forward pack, is the California Legion. So they are getting a little bit of extra force in this push. As you see, the Chicago Hounds reshuffle a little bit. They move one of their flankers into that back row position. So you see now that number 8 spot is filled. But take a look here. They're going after this one hard, I think, Will, up front. And they're going to try to push this one in for a penalty try again.
Legion have the man advantage. The push comes on as Timpson picks and goes again. This time he holds on to it. As the Hounds do push back the California Legion forwards by maybe a meter or so, but it's still, the momentum is with Legion as they pick and go again. That's big Tonga Kofe, USA Eagle, trying to use his mass going forward. More carries coming up front. You wonder when maybe there might be an opportunity to spin it out the back as the space is there, but it is a wet day. As we look just behind, the backs are settling themselves. 3 meters out from the line. Legion staying patient here. Is Big Joe Tafetete. One last pick, could that be enough? Tonga Kofe, former American football star. He's only been playing rugby really for the last couple of years, but has been such a force as now the Legion still get repelled by the Hounds. Lance Williams, does he make it? And it's given. Try for Legion, their first in this Sunday night rugby game. And it's that man, one of the MLR veterans, Lance Williams, who scores right underneath the post.
And that was just on the back end of so much pressure from this California Legion side. But I'll tell you what, take a little bit of a bow, Chicago. You're going backwards, you're backpedaling, you're giving up penalty after penalty, but you stop them short in their scrum. And I'll tell you what, California had to earn this. They didn't spin the ball out as everyone expected. We talked about how much of an entertaining brand of rugby they want to play. I will say that's probably not the most entertaining way to score with pick and goes around the fringes, but it works. And if you just keep doing it, as you said, Will, if you just stay patient, eventually someone like Lance Williams is just going to power over the line. So excellent patience, excellent job by this California Legion side to punch that one in.
Really needed to make the most of it. Multiple penalties and player in the sin bin, the doghouse, as we like to call it here in Chicago. As California Legion take the lead, 7 points to 5. As referee Luke Rogan looks to have a conversation once more, but this time it looks like with the Legion. And Mike, the interesting start to this game, two sides obviously coming off the back of 2 wins. Already the Legion, though, you thought maybe from the West Coast, there might be some tired legs, but it doesn't look like that. It looks as though we're having a referee review system, checking whether that try actually had been scored. Is this allowed, Mike Petrie?
Yeah, and they're going to get another good look at it. I mean, Luke Rogan has front row seats to it. Check out those camera angles. That ball looks like it's on the line. I mean, barely, just barely. But they might be questioning a double movement here, Will. I mean, he might have come up just short and then pushed it forward. I don't know, that's awfully close. I mean, look, the on-field decision right now is a try, so when they look at this monitor, they're going to need indisputable evidence to overturn the call. And Luke Rogan was standing there looking at it in real time.
One more look here. I think Luke Rogan wants to make the decision, this brand new referee review system. The referee on the field is going to make the final call. If you're new to rugby, he is literally watching these pictures and therefore will make the decision whether it is a try, yes or no. So it goes short there, but one movement would ultimately be allowed in the game of rugby. So does the referee deem that to be okay? We shall wait to find out. Here, Sunday night rugby action, Hounds Legion, live on ESPN2. With myself, Will Hooley, and USA Rugby Hall of Famer Mike Petrie filling in for the commentary for now. As we just wait to see if this was given as a try.
It is true that the player has short and has reached out and placed the ball. There is no issue. He is allowed to do that. Chicago lose their challenge. They have one challenge remaining.
So it was Chicago Hounds then that had that challenge. It was not correct. They didn't get away with it. And as we just discussed there, Mike Petrie, you're allowed to do that. That is why the try was scored.
Absolutely. And like I said, Luke Rogan was standing there with a front row seat to it. He might have come up just short. It looked like maybe he might have been on the edge of that chalk, of that white line. But nonetheless, he gets that second movement, which kicks him over the line. And that was an outstanding play by California. And again, this challenge was laid down by Chicago, but now they lose that challenge. I think they might want that one back later on in this game if this one stays as tight as we think it will.
Bertrand Milne, who had an excellent kicking game last week, kicked lots of meters, and that win against the Free Jacks is now the counter-attack led by Chris Hudson-Beck. Into Brock Webster, the former New England Free Jack, first season here at the Hounds. Tell you who is not his first season at the Hounds, that is Mac Jones, the most capped Hounds player in their franchise history. Gets it on now to the wide channel. Zabirek, who's come on the field only recently, the replacement hooker. Charlie Abel now makes a dive forward, playing with a bit more pace. Rumble, the captain, rumbles forward, and really nicely now towards the Legion 22. Thomas Casares.
You've landed on top. You've landed on top.
Now just around that halfway mark. Ethan Denhu, another one of those new signings as well, getting on the ball. Plenty of carries.
Michael, let go!
And roughly some pretty good go forward as now Hounds inside the Legion's red zone. Charlie Abel once more getting through a lot of work in this passenger play. Retailer Petty takes the carry. Once more. Chicago Hounds just keeping hold of the ball, more than happy to stay patient as they just creep their way forward inside this red zone of California Legion. Devoto pokes it forward. Taken there by Gonzalo Bertrand, but because he took the ball before the try line and then was taken over the try line, it looks like that will be a scrum to Chicago, so a good kick there from Ollie Devoto.
It was a fantastic kick from Devoto, and that's what you get when you bring in former England international into your ranks. I mean, saw the space. Chicago was going side to side a little bit. They're just trying to find some little gap and seam in that California Legion defense. They put that kick through. Excellent timing. Really good job by Chicago.
I understand, but there's a difference between putting a player on the ground and flopping on top.
So we're just waiting to see anything that came off the back of that. It's going to be fine. It's going to be a scrum, but we will have our first hydration break here in Major League Rugby's first Sunday night rugby showdown. It's Hounds Legion. Legion are leading 7 points to 5. We'll be back after this.
Study the ship for the sweet invitation. I will entertain.
Babe.
Miracles in my backyard are easy to find. And I feel like the winds are behind me.
An active recovery helps you get back to what matters sooner.
Factors into it. I don't know if it has something to do with it. A little bit hot. No. You blow on the pie first before actually, diving in.
Z is for always remembering to blow on the pie.
From Aotearoa to the A-League, witness rivalries rising. Wellington Phoenix Wanderers, Auckland FC Mariners. This weekend, live Sky Sport.
Back here for Sunday Night Rugby, it's Chicago Hounds in their first opening home match. The very venue where the championship will be placed on June 21st. Will these two teams get in there? California Legion are leading. That man, Jason Dahl, the captain, will be pretty happy. The lead, 7 points to 5, but Chicago Hounds have this scrum 5 meters out. Myself, Will Hooley, joined by USA Rugby Hall of Famer Mike Petrie. Mike, this is close to the line. Chicago want to put this in.
They absolutely will. Remember, they're doing this shorthanded as well. They have 2 players off the field right now with yellow cards in the doghouse, as you mentioned. So even more reason to celebrate how well Chicago is playing right now. We talk about momentum as a word that we've thrown around a little bit. And so far, these teams have been trading that momentum back and forth. Chicago started with it, they scored. They handed it off to California, they scored. Now Chicago knocking on the doorstep again. This is exactly what we expected, though, Will. Both of these teams, as we mentioned, full lineups, star-studded on both sides. This is what people want to see on ESPN.
Joining us here live on ESPN2. It is week 3 of Major League Rugby action. These two sides coming off the back of a win last week. Legion beating the Free Jacks, the reigning champions. And then Chicago travelled to Anthem and got a strong win there. Their forwards were excellent that day. Will they be excellent again? Lucas Rumble, the captain, looks to get over from short. He does, over the line. And Chicago Hounds are back on the scoreboard. And like you said, Mike Petrie, they might have a man in the sin bin, but they have turned it around for a second score. You can see what it means for the Hounds.
A little bit of a scrap up afterwards, and that's Lucas Rumble. That's a captain's try right there, Will, if you've ever seen one. Your team is in a bit of a hole. You were backpedaling. You were under so much pressure from all these penalties. And look at this. Take it onto yourself and just go forward. Pin your ears back and have it go. And I got to be honest, I think that's the exact same spot that they scored a little bit earlier when Furi did that pick and go around the corner, and Lucas Rumble just plowing forward, spinning himself over that try line. I mean, looking more like a midfield back there was Lucas Rumble. Outstanding footwork from the number 8 at the base of their scrum.
A try by the leader of the pack, Canadian international. Spoke to Will McGee, the general manager for Chicago Hounds, talking about how the re-signing of their core group, Lucas Rumble was one of them that he mentioned, the leadership that he can bring. Hilsenbeck lines up this extra 2. It's up, and it's going to be very similar to the first kick, off to the right-hand side, so it remains Chicago 10, Legion 7.
Well, I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot about kicking a goal here because I've never done it. You're really the expert in this category, but I will say Hilsenbeck's approach looks a little bit slow, a little bit like it's taking a little bit of time. Like if you're speedy, you might actually get one of those kicks.
Observation there coming from the scrum half. There you go. We are doing it here on ESPN2 for Sunday Night Rugby. Chicago take the lead. 2 tries, no conversions though, like you say, Mike Petrie. So Chicago 10, Legion 7. High hanging kick from Ruben De Haas. Now there's a bit of space on that far side. Can they move it there? Joe Mano, such a try-scoring machine in Major League Rugby, was with the Utah Warriors last year. Literally, it was a matter of getting the ball to Mano and he would score. Dahm gets absolutely hammered there. Slightly slipping on this surface, the USA captain and the California Legion captain. Webster darts, moves it to the width now to Devoto. Ollie Devoto, the former Exeter Chiefs player from the English Premiership and a former England international. You can't really get much more experience. Such a quality operator playing at 12 today. It's Hilsenbeck, whips it out to the try-scorer, Lucas Rumble, who gets over the gain line once more inside the Legion half. Lepetti there, a former San Diego Legion player, now in Hounds colours. Otti Pipiletti gets an offload away to his support. Rumble. How many times has he been on the ball? He has carried so hard in this opening 25 minutes. Out the back to Hilsenbeck. shooter, but gets it away from Ollie DeVolo to Abel. As now the Hounds just hold it with their handling. Great handling to Mark O'Keefe, who beats one and beats another and moves inside now. The 22 for Chicago Hounds. There's some space on the edge if they can get it there. The Haas to Mason Fletch. Mike Petrie talked about how important he is to this Hounds team, the Canadian international. Casares. There's a lot of work that's been done by this front five of the Hounds, but they keep going forward. Hilsenbeck takes this one in. Multiple phases now from Chicago. Ruben Haas sets it. Fletch. Another strong carry coming through the midfield. It's momentum that is building and building for the Hounds. They're looking for their third try. De Haas tells the big guys, come get it. Only 3 meters out. Ruben De Haas flicks it over the top. Mark O'Keefe, can he finish? Tackle comes in from Darm, but it won't be enough. Tavila Laperi gets over the former St Mary's alumni, and USA Eagle gets Chicago Hounds' third try of this opening half.
Luke Rogan having a chat here with California Legion's captain Jason Dom, and rightly so. I mean, both of these teams right now, self-inflicted pressure from all of the penalties that they're giving up on defense. But look at this big pass from De Haas over the top. Little step from O'Keefe, and then whoa, a little bit high there. So Luke Rogan's hand goes out, and then Lopetti does a little bit of a dance move, a bit of sidestep there, some flair to him. But here's that run from O'Keefe, and then whoop, there it is, a little high from the captain, Jason Dom, around Mark O'Keefe. So that was the comment there from our referee, Luke Rogan, saying bring that down. But right now, Chicago, seems like almost every time they have possession, they're scoring, Will. So you talk about strike rate inside of a green zone. You and I both know that that's one of your key statistics that you look at in the team room when you go back to those meetings during the week. And so far, every time they visited, they've been walking away with points.
They have indeed. Green zone, red zone? I'm never really sure which one it is. We'll go with whatever it is, but it was a try. Nonetheless, as you say, as Hilsenbeck gets this one up. Any questions whether that did go over? It is not. So Chicago Hounds 3 tries, none of them converted. Tavila Lopetti, he is such an exciting player. I've always enjoyed watching Lopetti. We take a look there at what was a high tackle from Jason Darn, but he gets the job done. Lopetti is brilliant in space, but he gets over the line from a meter.
Yeah, and what's that expression? You can step someone in a phone booth. I mean, that was never the way I played.
Not me
I don't know about you either, but I couldn't make steps like that. But good thing Lopetti's out there making steps like that, because he makes it look good. But Chicago right now, I will say, as you get a look at Taufete off the field, Chicago is going to be hurting a little bit because Hilsenbeck's missed all 3 of those conversion kicks. So they're leaving some points up on the board, which is not a good sign if you're a Chicago fan, because California right now, you know how they can be on offense, and when they get going, they can be really, really sharp.
De Haas will get this kick away. Beautifully high, hanging up in the air. Taken well, though, from Van Voot, the fullback for California Legion. Tonga Kofe had a spell at Leicester Tigers in the English Premiership this season. Finishing off his season here in Major League Rugby. Now Joe Mano skips out a 1 on the far edge. Big carry coming in from Timpson, but a massive hit by Casares, the USA international, causing the turnover. Billy Meeks has to go all the way back as Legion have to restart their attack. Mill will kick it long downfield. It looks as though that wind is probably in favour of California Legion, just the way that we've got some easy territory. Chicago now rebuild. Mike Petrie, 30 minutes have gone here. We're doing the commentary, we're stepping in. But what do you think so far? 30 minutes, home side have been really strong.
Both teams have actually been really strong in spurts. Chicago just more consistently so. And I mean, right now, inside the first 30 minutes of the game, you've got 4 tries scored between the two teams. That's exciting rugby. That's what people want to see as De Haas puts up an absolute bomb of a box kick right at midfield. We talked about his kicking game. That's one of the most exciting things. That ball goes up in the air. That is such a fun aerial battle. But this one, again, going to fall in favor of Chicago. They've got a lot of momentum right now, Will.
Can't clear someone out around the neck. Prop roll is what Luke Rogan said. That is why it's the penalty. Rugby is a ferocious sport. I remember talking once to, I'm sure some people will know him, he was a former US Navy SEAL and a leadership extraordinaire, the one and only Jocko Willings. I don't know if you know of Jocko, do go and look him up. He is an incredible human being. He explained rugby, and he said to me one word when he watched it: savage. Is that right?
I think it depends where you play, to be honest. But you know what? Overall, I think it's organized. I think savage takes it to a different level. I think organized is a good way to describe it. But, I mean, the display of athleticism from every single player that steps on the field and what they're able to do, I mean, it's so much fun to watch.
Ball comes in there for Chicago. If they get a 4th try, there'll be already a bonus point to their name. The maul comes to a bit of a standstill, but De Haas will get it out. Devoto, so key in this matchup, going literally into his opposite man, Billy Meeks. England versus Australia in the midfield. This is the Canadian Flesh who gets another go forward. It just keeps going, the momentum with the Hounds. It's nothing fancy, but they get close once more to the California Legion line. Pick and go. Penalty advantage this for Chicago Hounds, but they keep it with the forwards. Turnover, but it will come for a penalty. Luke Rogan, we'll wait to see any decision he might have here, Mike Petrie. It's a talking to.
Lucas, what are you doing?
So far, surely the next one will be a card, and there we go, Mike. They are backing themselves, the Chicago Hounds, from here.
And how about that? And as they should. I mean, like I said earlier in this game, I am always taking points when they're on offer, and from that close, it's almost silly not to take 3 points. But the way Chicago is playing right now, they've already got 3 tries. This 4th one could add that bonus point. We talked about that league table in the open, how important it is. This is a prime attacking opportunity right now. All of the pressure is on California. Chicago has been playing so well. And as a 10, you know this. This is one of the best attacking places you can ask for. Center field scrum, you split your backs up, you practice this all week. This is where you and I get to have some fun in games in places like this.
I think Rogan blows for another penalty. They are allowed to have another scrum reset. So, as you were saying, Mike Petrie, having that scrum right in the middle of the field, it really opens up the attack. Mark O'Keefe, USA International, already nearly over the line already. What are you seeing here?
See that I formation in behind the scrum for Chicago. They've split their outside backs on either side of it. They'll stay in that I formation, and then they'll sweep one way or the other. A bit of misdirection, if you will, out of the backfield is what you'll see out of this Chicago side, some deception. Well, let's see what they do here. They can sweep to the right, sweep to the left, or just take Ruben De Haas and run him somewhere as well.
De Haas sits patiently behind the scrum. As the push over the line, it's over. Lucas Rumble has 2, and Chicago Hounds have their 4th try. The bonus point in the bag before the end of the half.
Forget what I said, Will. It doesn't matter how you split your back line. When you're going forward like that and your opposition scrum is on roller skates, you don't need any of that stuff. You can just throw that whole playbook out the window, and you just plow forward like you do. Luke Rogan having a chat. Lucas Rumble. But Rumble doing what he does best. I mean, look at this push from the Chicago Hounds. Again, forget everything I said about location and center field scrum and splitting back lines and I formations and sweeping left and right, because check this out, Lucas Rumble just goes on railroad tracks straight over the top of a California Legion jersey. And Chris Hilsenbeck will line this one up from directly in front of the post.
You hope for Hilsenbeck he'll be able to put this one over for the extra points to increase this Hounds lead. A very impressive first half so far by the home side. The crowd are loving it. They're staying out there in what's difficult conditions. It's a windy city at the end of the day, Mike, but there's nothing that is stopping this tornado of an attack from Chicago Hounds so far as they lead 22 points to 7. And it's a penalty for the Legions blocking straight off the kickoff. And just when you've scored, you want to make sure you're assured and make sure it's set up. You're already nodding, or sorry, shaking your head there.
I can't tell you how many team rooms I've been in where it's you do something well and then right away you gift the opposition something like this. You know what's coming. You're going to just gather the ball. You're going to set up for a kick. Lucas Rumble, you can see there the frustration from him. But now you go from just scoring 7 points to 5 meters out with your backs against your own goal line. That's not where you want to be. That's not the type of mistake you want to make if you're Chicago.
Legion get the ball into the line out. It's Jason Dahm, who has been such a target for them in the line out. This looks like it's going all the way over the line. It does. Try comes in, waiting to see who comes out the bottom of that. And Legion, just like that, from the kickoff, the mistake from the Hounds, they capitalise. And it looks as though it's number 16, Ben Sugars, who gets over for Legion's second try.
Wow, what a turn of events that is. Like I said, just literally not even 60 seconds ago, I think, Chicago just scored 7 points. And here's California come right back into it off of a Chicago penalty from the kickoff for obstruction. Kicks for a line out, 5 meters out, and they just drive this one in. And this is big. And look, there's Billy Meeks getting involved, Bertrano at the back. Joey Mano coming in a little bit late, but nonetheless, like in true wing style, showing up late to the mall party as we line this one up from the far touchline.
Milne gets this up and no movement on the ball there, so it drifts wide. And for Legion, talk about where the momentum seemed all with Chicago in this last 15 or so minutes, and then way to just turn it from the mistake, from the Hounds, and allows California just to come back into this game before the end of the halftime break.
They've literally just been handing it off back and forth. It's like, here's the energy, you take it. Here's the energy, no, I don't want it, you take it. They have just been trading tries, with the exception of, like you said, that little bit of momentum that Chicago had where they scored 2 in a row. But right now, this game has been back and forth, and that's what I love about this. This is exactly what we expected from these two teams.
Taco, let go.
The last 90 seconds in the opening half from Chicago. For Sunday Night Rugby here, Major League Rugby 2026 season. The brand new California Legion trail 12 points to 22 against the Chicago Hounds. Simple penalty, and to be honest, Mike, when you look at this game, you look at the reflection of the first half, Hounds have been dominant, particularly through the middle section of the first 40 minutes, but actually it's the ill discipline from Chicago that has just allowed Legion to still be in this game. Try early on and then try just a moment ago from penalties.
You've got to imagine that that's going to be a theme in both of these locker rooms in about a minute's time. As soon as they walk in the door, discipline is going to be the key. Corbus will be talking to coaches afterwards, and they'll be saying discipline is a theme because each team is just gifting territory and opportunities to the other, one after the other, and all of it due to penalties.
Last 30 seconds or so in this first half.
Move, 8.
carried by Jason Dahm. So much work he's had in this opening 40 minutes of Sunday Night Rugby. Bertrand to Poidovan.
No, he tried,
San Diego Legion star. Cox in the red.
Away!
Kenny Nasingenge gets over the line for the Legion. They mount an attack. A big shot coming in from Charlie Abel. Is this the last play of the first half? Brock Webster kicks it high.
Contest.
The ball's still in play. It's not the end of the first half yet. And on cue, the commentators curse.
Half time.
That brings an end to our first 40 minutes. Chicago Hounds have the lead, 22 points from 12 against California Legion. Mike Petrie, what are your thoughts on that first half?
6 tries scored, 4 by Chicago, 2 for California. Will, I love Tri-Fest, and so far, by all accounts, this has all the ingredients to be a really fun second half. Both teams, lots at stake. There is so much more to play for, but it's been down to penalties, as you said. Both teams have to get that right in the second half. They got to go in and get that part of the game locked down.
Well, the fans are braving it in Chicago. It's Dogtown, and it's their team that is leading this one. They've already scored 4 tries. They already have the bonus point in the bag. We've got some halftime analysis coming to you after a short break. But first and foremost, we've got Mr. Alex Corbisiero with a double try scorer, Lucas Rumble.
Thank you, Will. I've managed to capture one of the man of the moment, captain for Chicago Hounds, Lucas Rumble. 2 tries yourself, but 4 tries in the first half, and you had double yellow cards. Got to be pretty happy with that. It's been feisty out there.
Yeah, very feisty. We need to clean up our discipline in our half, but I'm really happy with the boys who are playing the attacking footy right now.
Yeah, obviously Legion's maul has been something, but I've thought as well, your guys' physicality in the contact area, attack and defence, really taking on a physical team, and that's really paid dividends for you.
100%. We want you to feel it physically, mentally. We want you to hear it when you come to Dogtown, so we're checking those boxes right now.
Awesome, mate. Well, good luck in the second half. I'll let you get to your team. Thanks, pal. Back to you, Will.
Thanks, big man. Corbs getting the dry as Lucas Rumble heads into the locker room. It's the Hounds who lead. Join us for more halftime analysis. The Sunday Night Rugby will be back just after this.
Study the ship for the sweet invitation. I will entertain.
Babe.
Miracles in my backyard are easy to find. And I feel like the winds are behind me.
An active recovery helps you get back to what matters sooner.
What kind of crazy life hack is this?
The dishwasher doesn't dry the dishes well enough.
Try Finish Rinse Aid.
For 2 times better drying, including on plastic, improving shine and protecting glasses.
Finish, the real life hack.
Introducing the limited edition Triton 4-wheel drive GLX Sport. You'll spot this rare beast because of its 18-inch black alloy wheels, Super Select 2 4-wheel drive system, and black sports bar. $49,990 plus on roads. Get one in your sights today.
Tuffy Ultimate, New Zealand's only 4-ply paper towel. Absorbs tough messes. Stays strong, even when wet. Tuffy Ultimate, New Zealand's only 4-ply paper towel.
Perfect Italiano is perfect for that. And Perfect Italiano is perfect for that. Not so good for that. But for mouth-watering pizza every time, Perfect Italiano is perfect for that.
Global fuel prices are impacting Kiwis, so these easy tips could help you stretch up to 20% more from every tank and make your money go further. First, watch your speed so it doesn't creep up. Try to accelerate gently and avoid braking too hard. Check your tyre pressure regularly and lighten the load like roof racks or weight from your boot. These small changes all add up to make a real difference. Learn more at fuelsavingtips.govt.nz.
I'm worried about my oral health. Don't worry, I recommend Colgate Total. Colgate's best active prevention system is 15 times more effective at fighting a key root cause of many oral care issues. Helps prevent oral care issues before they start.
Finally, the EV you've been waiting for. Advanced technology with proven off-road capability for wherever, whenever. Suzuki e-Vitara. Adventure charged.
Sky Sport and the HSBC Sevens. Let's get it. The series heads to Hong Kong. Friday, live Sky Sport.
We're back here. We're back on Major League Rugby. All right, I thought we had some tape of. That's all right. We're having a little tech issues, but that is the beauty of live TV, fellas. Actually, you guys didn't know this, but second half you have to ref as well. They weren't supposed to do the play-by-play of the color, but they did so well. They're like, you know what, Will Hooley, Mike Petrie, you guys, you know, Hall of Famer, Will USA Eagle. You're also going to do play-by-play, and then you're going to ref because you did so well, fellas. Good job.
I don't know about that. But talking of the refereeing, it was such an interesting first half because Chicago Hounds were dominant. But the thing, Mike, that has really let Legion into the game is the undiscipline from Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Luke Rogan had to go into his pocket early twice against Chicago. You see two of them there sitting in the doghouse. I mean, that was just the way this unfolded very early on. It was discipline was the key, but Lucas Rumble just making California pay. 2 picks around the base. That's a leader right there. That's a captain throwing a marker down. It's a scrappy game. Both teams just fighting it out back and forth, and Rumble just tucking it under his arm and doing the hard yards.
An exciting first 40 of the Hounds and Legion. The story of the half, plenty of energy, which of course resulted in those tries, 6 of them, but also a little slip in the discipline, and we saw it very early. 2 early yellow cards, 5 penalties in the opening 12 minutes for Chicago, 12 total for both sides. Mike.
Look, Claudia, I mean, you said it early on. I was all about California coming into this. You were going with Chicago. For me, this game, the wet weather has really played a big factor in it. We haven't had a chance to open this game up yet.
Excuses. It's fine. We've got more reaction on the other side here. Sunday Night Rugby. And there you have it.
When you need to get tough on pain, Neuramol's powerful combination of ibuprofen and paracetamol provides fast-acting, longer-lasting, more effective relief than paracetamol alone. Hit pain hard with Neuramol liquid capsules.
The future of fast is here. Vanish Gold Pro Turbo, our best stain removal in a fast 30-minute wash.
These stains? Quickly?
Easy. Just 1 scoop of Vanish acts first time. Let the quick wash tough stain challenge begin. Vanish Gold Pro Turbo contains a unique accelerator system that turbocharges stain removal in 30 minutes.
A new record.
Trust Vanish. Forget stains.
Something more adult.
Yeah, like he's on a horse's back.
How about a... Kid, the grown-ups are talking.
A line of cargo shorts.
The man, Leroy.
Oh, yes, there he is.
Oh, man.
He's sleeping.
Look, man, you no longer align with our core demographic.
What kind of crazy life hack is this?
The dishwasher doesn't dry the dishes well enough.
Try Finish Rinse Aid.
For 2 times better drying, including on plastic, improving shine and protecting glasses.
Finish, the real life hack.
No markers there.
one sport delivers moments like this.
Oh, yeah! This is incredible rugby league!
Only NRL. Thursday, live Sky Sport. Coverage brought to you by KFC and Bunnings Warehouse.
Welcome back to Sunday Night Rugby on ESPN. Will Hooley, Mike Petrie, Claudia Bellafato with you. Sunday Night Rugby, the first 40 between Chicago Legion and Chicago leading 22-12. Lots of excitement, just week 3, but plenty more to come, people. Next week, Anthem going for their third win, taking on Old Glory DC. We have an Eastern Conference battle and a rematch with Chicago and New England. In California and Seattle with a West Coast showdown. Like I said, week 3, but plenty of moments. Favorite moment so far? Do we have one? Is it in this game maybe even?
I don't know. I don't know about you, Mike, but there's been a few favorite moments already for the Chicago Hounds. The fact that they're at home their first game in this Sunday Night Rugby game, they've already got 4 tries in the bag.
The fact that they scored the first one, 2-3 minutes in? I mean, if that to me has to be the moment of the game. If you talk about my favorite so far, when you score that quick, that gets the fans on their feet.
My favorite moment was these guys jumping in to do play-by-play last minute and crushed it. And may I add, I do believe we have our friends back on the field who'll be back on the mics, but you guys did great. Great first 40. Excited for the second. We will be right back. Hounds, Legion, Sunday Night Rugby, halftime reaction, and the fans are staying there. I think the rain's gone, I think? Question mark? We'll be right back.
Turn shorter days into better nights at Beds R Us with great deals on selected sleepyhead beds. Save 50% on Serenity Breeze. Queen size now from $1,799. Enjoy longer nights with Beds R Us, where dreams begin.
Introducing the limited edition Triton 4-wheel drive GLX Sport. You'll spot this rare beast because of its 18-inch black alloy wheels, Super Select 2 4-wheel drive system, and black sports bar. $49,990 plus on roads. Get one in your sights today.
Dyson's new robot cleaner vacuums, washes, and seeks out stains. Identifies, eliminates, and double checks. Powered by advanced AI, dirt has nowhere to hide.
Tuffy Ultimate, New Zealand's only 4-ply paper towel. Absorbs tough messes, stays strong even when wet. Tuffy Ultimate, New Zealand's only 4-ply paper towel.
Perfect Italiano is perfect for that. And Perfect Italiano is perfect for that. Not so good for that. But for mouth-watering pizza every time, Perfect Italiano is perfect for that.
Miss you.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Picture this. You, your brand new Suzuki, and all of New Zealand to explore. Enjoy even more with 3.9% no deposit finance on a selected new Suzuki. Best day ever.
Sky, your home of sport, where the action keeps heating up. The next chapter of Super Rugby Pacific. The prestigious Masters. The Pacific 4 Series. Supercars are in Aotearoa. NRL Premiership action. It's showtime in the NBA playoffs and the A-League's ramp up. Sky, your home of sport.
Sunday Night Rugby here on ESPN2 is back. The Chicago Hounds lead California Legion. 2 tries from that man, Lucas Rumble, the captain. Kobe Milne will look to get us ready for the second half. And it is my joy, I'm so happy to say this, we can finally go to our commentary team in the booth, Mr. Ben Holden and Bree Kim.
All right, well, yes, it is great to hear those words, and it's great to be with you for the first time tonight here from Chicago. Ben Holden, Bree Kim, Alex Corbacero down pitch side, and Corbs is always working those sidelines. We just got an update. Bad news for California, Bree, that Christian Poitevin is out with a broken clavicle. It is part of this sport. You're at risk every time, but that is a massive loss for California.
Well, that's a huge blow for them. He brings such physicality to their side, but you know the guys will step up. Also, another note, Joe Tafate, who came off with blood in the first half, he is back in, so Ben Sugars is off.
Ben Sugars had a pretty productive first half as well. This one sent sky high out just over halfway. Good take back there off the kick from Ruben de Haas. Gonzalo Bertranu gets in there. The guys talked about him in the pregame show and ran into him earlier today. I said, there's about 5 versions of people saying your name. What is it? He said, well, how do you say it? I said, Bertranu. He said, that's how you say it. So just want to clear the air on that as California gains halfway. There is Bertranu spinning it free. He and Ruben de Haas met in a World Cup match back in 2019, head-to-head here tonight. 2 of the most decorated international players in Major League Rugby. So Bree, Chicago here, what's important for them, they're up 22-12 here. They look pretty impressive despite dealing with a couple of yellows and a lot of penalties.
Yeah, they've been very efficient and they've had a high-octane attack, but the discipline, as you mentioned, we know that they had 7 penalties in the first half, and that rolls into the second point, which is if you give penalties to them, then you know that California is going to take advantage, go for the mauls when they can, and their driving maul is so potent, but here they go on the attack.
Here comes Chicago now with some pace. Ball down on the floor. Gathered in over there on that far side by Mark O'Keefe. Mark O'Keefe with a bulldozing run there. O'Keefe, a tough customer. He scored last week in the victory over Anthem. How about Anthem 2-1 now with a big win today at home against Seattle. Quickly to it is de Haas. Moved on by Hilsenbeck. Lepetti in there on the clean out. Little chip through there by Ruben de Haas. Trying to get in there was Webster. Up against their own line, but Luke Rogan with a whistle. We're going to come back and reset here for the penalty call.
Yeah, and off the screen too, I believe that is Jones.
It is, yes.
Who is just getting up after getting some medical attention there. He will jog back though to join his squad. See what Chicago tends to do here.
Well, the wind's been a problem here. Hilsenbeck's missed a couple of kicks, so they're going to go for the line out here.
Yeah, and look, in the first half, the weather really did kind of stave off. I mean, I think we were expecting a lot more rain. It's gusty here. That certainly played into it, but I think, you know, both teams are just happy with how the conditions have played out so far.
Yeah, the rain, for the most part, is moved past here. We're about 15 miles away from downtown Chicago, due west of downtown. We can see it outside of our nice broadcast booth here. It's the size of a condominium. Little discussion, some subs coming into the match now for California. And again, Christian Poitevin lost for this match and more. As they'll change up at that loose head position. Muti comes in now for the California Legion, coached by Steve Hoyles. Chris Latham, the Chicago Hounds head coach. Off to a 1-0 start. California 1-1, but a potent offense last week. But tonight so far, they've been held in pretty good check here by a gritty, tough, physical Chicago side. Here's the push now. The Hounds trying to get another one home, and the massive humanity in there. Luke Rogan on the right there, gets in there. And Rogan saying, hang on a minute.
Yeah, just gonna hold up the play. There are so many bodies, and they're really difficult to see where the ball is. Massive momentum from Chicago off of that.
So he is counting that as a try, and Abel and company able to power it home. Chicago extending the lead here. Kick coming, it's 27-12 now.
We're picking up right where they left off in the first half. Just putting it to their throats and putting on more points. Really, it came off of just game line after game line. We know that Chicago is so good at that. They lead the league in game line success rate. They're going to look to continue that right after this kick.
Chris Hilsenbeck gets it on the tee. Led the league last year with 109 points. 83% he was. Came into the match with 6 points, 3 of 4. But again, the wind wreaking havoc on the kicking game tonight. See if he can stick this one. The wind has calmed a little bit here at SeatGeek Stadium. Strike with that right, and that's a beautiful kick. We got a great vantage point. Hilsenbeck is money there, right down Michigan Avenue. 29-12, Chicago.
Beautiful kick there, and now, just as we were talking about it, the rain is starting to come down.
Jinxed it. Big Charlie Abel. Hoping to get that one home. The Hounds had the bonus point in the first half, and you look at this side, Bree, and the makeup of it. You've got DeHaas and Hilsenbeck, two outstanding players at 9 and 10. They got a bunch of veteran guys up front, led by Rumble and Flesh and Jones and guys like that, and Charlie Abel as well, and good set of backs. They're a dangerous team. Many think they could win this whole thing and be playing here the last match of the year in June.
Yeah, and it's all about the Chicago way, the grittiness that they play with.
Yep.
Just putting pressure on here. We can get back to that in a second, but now looking to see how they can counter.
Here's Webster. So dynamic is Brock Webster.
No, play on.
Just yanked down there, quickly getting the ball into the hands of Ruben DeHaas. 44 caps for Ruben with the USA Eagles, making his debut in that match I mentioned against Bertrand back in 2019, his 21st birthday. Here's Webster again. He's dangerous. Webster puts his head right into the chest there of Kobe Milne. Advantage, says Luke Rogan, for the Hounds of Chicago.
Brock Webster just so slippery. We just saw him in action right in the middle of the field, and then, of course, doing the work on the sideline. But will go the penalty. Very reminiscent of what we just saw a few minutes ago, Ben.
Yeah, very much so, as Hilsenbeck with a pretty good kick down there. And here's a look back, Bree.
Now this time just runs out of room, so has to go into the contact with Milne, but that's where they go back for the initial penalty. So Luke Rogan blows that one up. Chicago taking their time, going in.
Yeah, line's yours.
There's substitutions being made as well.
So that last passage that ended in the try for Chicago, Abel was in the mix, but it was Piffoletti that got the try for Chicago.
Okay.
They now lead it 29-12 here. Front row changes here for the California Legion. Fresh off that big win over New England last week at home. Well, their home wanders all over the state. If you're new to the league, they're going to play 5 home matches all over the state. They played down in San Diego last week in Torero Stadium, University of San Diego. Line out here for the Hounds, trying to stick another one in the try zone and extend the lead here in the 47th minute. Rogan had the arm in the air. Wants him to get going. DeHaas pulls it free, plays that ball inside into the hands there of Ali Devoto. Luke White, another veteran, one of those big boys up front we mentioned for Chicago.
Oh, let it come.
Great experience in this league and around the world for Luke White. DeHaas letting the big boys go at it here. Why not? It's worked all night. Another pick here by Lucas Rumble. He had a massive first half with 2 tries. Canadian international and multi-year captain of the Chicago side. California, though, getting the victory down here, and they're coming up with the ball after a knock-on, Bree.
Oh, man, that's a big win, and you can see the frustration there on Furity's face. Just the messages there to Captain Rumble, not happy with that one, but that was big for California. They got to stay in the fight here. Just 7 minutes in the second half, but 17 points down. You got to chip away at this difference, and it starts with this scrum here. Keep that possession, get into the attacking half.
Yeah, the top offensive side through, albeit 2 weeks, California came into this match, but thus far they've been held to a dozen. Surprised by that?
I don't know. I think that's kind of what we might be expecting.
The old saying back in the day, the monsters of the Midway, the Chicago Bears, and blue collar, cold weather, windy city, and a lot of toughness in this city, and that's another win.
Too far extended, collapsing.
There's the call from Rogan, so it's a call going the way of
behind the fire, please.
Milne and the Legion.
Yeah, 2 front row wins back to back. It was Taufete'e who had that big tackle to force that turnover. And then the big guys getting it done, drawing the penalty. Now they get to relieve some pressure. If you're newer to rugby, when you have the penalty, one of the options is you can go to touch. You kick it out. Looks kind of different from what you might see in other sports, but you are rewarded with the ball wherever the ball crosses the sideline. So now they have a little bit more breathing room, and now they can execute off this line out.
Good stuff from you, Bree. And here's the veteran, Joe Tafatea. That line out, Jason Dahm, Captain America, up to get it. Captain the USA Eagles for about a half dozen matches last season. Now a chase, and it's taken away by Chicago. Good job getting in there and coming up with that ball by Hilsenbeck in tight quarters, and he made a nice play there.
Just some extra words being exchanged. I'm not sure that I loved that decision, though. You saw the nice little chip kick right over that first layer of the Chicago defense, but could have been a little bit deeper, I think, just not quite executed, but that ball does not go out of bounds.
No, he doesn't. A big return here. Ryan James, this guy can fly. Came into the match tonight, leading the league with over 250 meters gained so far this season. An absolute lightning bolt is Ryan James, San Diego, California native. Now the Legion look to get something going here. Kenny Nasagenge, the carry there. Jason Dahm in to help out. Bertranu wants to get this ball into his hands and send it skyward, and does just that. Charge down from his counterpart to Haas. Take back there. This is Webster again. Always a home run threat. He just got popped. Big time hit there on Brock Webster. Part of the beautiful part of this sport, those big physical hits. Now Bertranu picks it up. California now looking to get something going. Down 29-12 here into the 51st minute. Bertranu on to Billy Meeks, who spent a couple of years here in Chicago. Didn't work out the way they'd hoped, and Billy's found his way back to California, where he's been pretty much based at since he's been over in the States. Big bruising hit there, delivered on that carry from Justice Tabai. Now California trying to get something going here. Plenty of time left in this match.
Backwards.
Trying for the double tackle, and Nasagenge will play that off the turf.
No head contact.
Bertranu takes a look. He is so fast, one of the fastest guys on the planet at playing the ball from the breakdown and from the base of that ruck. A little bit more time there, but normally he is lightning quick. It's hard to keep up with his pace. Chicago trying to hold up here. Good push here from the Legion. Jason Dahm takes on two. Now Billy Meeks. Tackle down low, made, turned in there by Casares. Freed by Bertranu.
No, wait, no. Your player's got to roll.
Sagenge again. Sorry. Bertranu thought about it, then plays it back, and then it's mishandled and turned over, and now the Hounds have it. Big kick. This will go too deep for them, but they'll get it back here.
Oh, and just the weight on that kick, just a little bit too much. I loved that decision there. It was a good look. There was no one home right off of the turnover. But let's just go back to how the Legion turned over the ball. Big shot there from the number 19, Ronan Murphy. Brock Webster always looking to try to slip through, but that one just body height too high. That's what turned over the ball and started the passage of play for the Legion.
It's up to you. Let's go, let's go. Official challenge, you want to challenge it?
So there's the word right there.
We have a team challenge
Head on head.
from Chicago. The previous play is under review.
And it was
Not for
interesting.
foul play. Not for foul play.
You and I talked with Luke Rogan, Chris Asmus a little bit. Don't want to give away trade secrets, but there's a lot that everyone had to learn with the new system. And they seem to be adapting nicely to it.
Yeah, and it's still something that they're working on, of course. But I think they're just making sure that Rumble was actually requesting the challenge. Remember, it's up to the captain's discretion, but they have to be specific about when they want, what specific play they want to review and when. and it's got to be within 2 phases of that play for them to take a look at.
Okay, can you rock him up for me, please?
So Luke Rogan talking with James Harrison,
Okay,
the
he's upright.
referee review system operator tonight. So it was that hit on Webster.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see the 2 heads
That
just
angle,
bash
I can't see
right
if there's any
there.
contact
Yep.
there. Can you? Roll back the close angle, Jimmy. Yeah, that's the angle. That's the only angle we've got. Just roll. Go back. 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 All right, play it from here in slow-mo, please. He is upright, but I can't see if there's any head contact there, fellas. Can you?
It's not clear. Yeah, we can't see the point of contact from there.
I can't see the point of contact from there. Jimmy, are you saying that's the best angle yet? Okay, everything else is frozen and skipped, so that's the best angle we have. From that angle, I can't know if there's any head contact. He is upright, but I can't see if there's head contact. You agree? Chris, do you agree there's no head, I can't see any clear head contact there?
So, I mean, you can see the
You've
moment
got
is
something from
there.
broadcast. Hang on, let's have a look. Derek, here we go, yep.
Oh, this is the one?
Okay, here we go, that's
This is
better,
the one?
yep. He is upright, yes. Okay, yes, there is direct head contact. Yep. Okay, he is upright. There is head contact.
Foul play.
It's foul play because he... Jimmy, can we play that at full speed, please? Okay, it's a high degree of danger for me, and I'm seeing no mitigation, correct? Yeah, so we do have head contact. It is foul play. There's a high... A red card for 19 blue, correct? Head contact there with... Yeah, happy? I have a decision. Following the team challenge by Chicago, it is determined that there is head contact. It is foul play because the player is upright. It is a high degree of danger and there is no mitigation. It will be a red card against 19 blue.
So there you have it, and that's part of the system that is new. Watching it in the stadium, the microphone on the referee in the middle, and that's the decision Rogan and company made. Do you agree?
I mean, that is a tough call, but you know what happens when the referees review this, it's always player safety first. And I think what caused that decision to go was Murphy's body position was way too high, trying to make that tackle on Webster, even though Webster, you know, was quite high himself. It doesn't matter. It's how the tackler's body position looks. And so for them, that's player safety at risk. And so that's a red card.
Some more looks at it here. Right there, I mean, on that look, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
But then if you see another angle, it looks like the shoulder got him first and the head came up. But, I mean, I think personally it's the right call.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Webster's head, just the recoil right there on the contact. So that is quite unfortunate. Remember, it will be 20 minutes red card.
Yep.
So
the Hounds trying to go to the all-you-can-eat buffet here and get some more scoring done here while California down a man in the order of Ronan Murphy. Hounds on that far side, driving their way inside of the 5 now. Way back by Luke White, picked up, taken to Haas. They got him from behind. About a meter away is Chicago here, leading 29-12 in the 55th. Rogan's there. And he's saying we need to take a look and discuss. Cash Malawia was the one in there. He just came into the match to replace Billy Meeks. Let's listen. Chicago powers in another one. And they get the job done. The Hounds have been released here at SeatGeek Stadium, a 34-12 lead.
I mean, look at that reaction from Casares.
The play is under review.
And you know they're going to take another look. So we will go back to a challenge. I mean, look, it's if you don't challenge this, I mean, the whole momentum swings. You still have 25 minutes in the match, but it's really make or break here. So I understand completely why Legion goes for that, because otherwise they're finding themselves in a deeper and deeper hole.
Can you just confirm that time, please, for me? $53.39. Correct? This is out of protocol, boys.
Let's see. Let's go back to the track.
53.59, thank you. Is that the one there we're talking about? 53.59.
Rogan still taking a look at the Jumbotron in the end of the stadium to our right.
Yeah, we're looking at the rip. Just go back to the rip for me, please, Jimmy.
James Harrison is who Luke Rogan is talking to, the referee review system operator here inside of the stadium down below us.
Let's just double check this in protocol, please. Play it from here. One. I agree. I just want to have a look at this. So what I'm seeing is it ripped by blue, and I'm not seeing by blue. I'm seeing an actual knock on by blue in the lead up to the try. I'm not seeing a clear knock on by white. Agreed?
So we have a verdict that Luke Rogan will give to us here. We'll listen to him give that.
Challenged by California. It is determined that the ball goes backwards from white. There is no knock on. California lose their review. They have one review remaining. Try stands.
Yep, you get 2 of those per match, and there are some stipulations. End of the first half, final 5 minutes.
Yep.
The gusty winds and the rain now playing against the Legion's favor.
You know what I say in this sport. This is not baseball. They play through the rain. They play in the snow. They play in it all, except one word that I won't say. Starts with an L. I'll leave it at that. That kick sails, and Hilsenbeck and the Hounds lead 34-12. So the first try of the season for Tomas Casares as we look back at it, Bree.
Yeah, here's a great angle here, and just right there, that ball from Luke White, just short off of the base. Casares in prime position there.
So now California in an even bigger hole as Ruben DeHaas sends it skyward into the Chicago rain. It's going to be a problem. Hounds nearly had it. Rogan blowing it dead, though. And it's a knock-on California.
Chicago now just taking it to them, and just the errors continue to build, and you can feel the momentum just shifting. Luke White looking nice and confident now, getting ready for this next scrum, and James, you can see frustration on his face as he gets back in position.
See those fans out in the rain, out in the elements, just like the Hounds and that mantra they have, the Chicago way.
Yeah, let's go.
Midwest attitude, they're tough customers.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about it before, but their style of play is maybe not the flashy rugby that you love to see on the highlight reels, but they just put multiple chinks in your armor, and they just keep chipping away, and before you know it, you're down 24 points, or excuse me, 22 points. And these conditions, playing against the Legion, they love to play that free-flowing style, and having to mitigate against that a little bit. Chicago feeling quite good with where they're at.
Second straight match. They've been north of 30. They scored 33, winning 33-19 as the kick sails through here. And a bonus point win last week to open their season against Anthem, who came out and, well, they kind of punched California in the mouth in week 1. Anthem
17.
now 2 wins. 5 tries last week for Chicago. 4 scored, 1 a penalty try, and tonight they're at it again.
Yeah, and that one is a scrum penalty against the Legion. And I believe that was against Leaney in that one. And you should note the end zones here, the try zones here are quite short. So you saw DeHaas trying that little kick through. I think that was a good option, but just a little less weight there.
Brock Webster after that shot he took. And so you can get involved with us throughout the year, whether it's here on ESPN2 or on ESPN Plus with the hashtag MLR 2026. Our guy, Waffle House Rugby Football Club, he is leading he's the clubhouse, he's the tournament leader, he's leading everything. The guy's on Twitter more than anyone I know. Great to see him involved here tonight. Big tackle from California on that far side. James doing the job defensively there for California on Ruben DeHaas there. Next week, Ruben DeHaas will play in Nashville with the Hounds. Bree, you and I will have the call of that match, and that's going to be the closest Ruben DeHaas has played to his home of Little Rock, Arkansas, after his family came over from South Africa. That's going to be a big, big moment for Ruben DeHaas and his family next week.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to have so many more people in the stands supporting him, but right now, bouncing ball, but able to take it cleanly, the Legion.
59th minute here in this match, 34-12, Chicago with the lead. Charge down, kick away. Hilson back over there, but it's sailed into touch.
Just 22 minutes now left in the match. Still plenty of time. But Chicago's going to just try to kill every minute they can. And we look at Brock Webster. I mean, 82 meters made. Usually see maybe a few more clean breaks from this one, but just slippery grass. But man, he is so fun to watch, especially on the counterattack. And that forces the hand.
Scrum cap on.
Step back, Blue, step back.
Rogan blowing it, and it's another try for Chicago. The Hounds released once again. They continue to pile up the points. 39-12 Chicago.
I mean, all gas, no brakes for this Hound side. That time, Brandon Harvey getting the points to his name. Just take a look at the first break here from Mason Flash, 2-time try scorer last week, picking up, just going and going, and then trying to get the ball out wide. There was an overload, couldn't keep it in the hands, but they were able to consolidate it. But we didn't see it here, but in the next passage of play, we just saw an injection of pace, just the acceleration that each of these Hound players were able to take through each of those gaps, just created that much more go forward, and Legion had no response.
Brandon Harvey's
to beat them. It's always a good grudge match against them.
Let's go.
Number 2 versus number 3. Oh my gosh, what a game.
Weren't sure what was coming, now you know.
Set them all in. Let them all know that I'm locked in.
That's the moment.
It's go time, who you call it?
Canada, Blackferns, Saturday, live, Sky Sport 1.
welcome back to Chicago. Ben Olden, Bree Kim, Alex Corbucero's down roaming the sidelines down there as well. And Sunday Night Rugby crew in New York City. Will, Mike, and Claudia will have the post-game portion of the broadcast here once we're done. And California inside of the 22. They haven't been in there here in quite some time here in this second half. But the Chicago Hounds have come and flexed their muscles here tonight at SeatGeek Stadium. 20-year anniversary of this stadium comes up in June again. The final will be played here in June. Will we see Chicago on their home pitch? What an advantage that would be. But a lot of season to be played, and there's only 10 matches, so every one matters. Look at Lepetti. Always so good at dancing his way and weaving through. Bertranu and Tafatea for California off the pitch right now. Alex Corbacero updating us down there on that. Here's a chase for it for the Hounds. Went backwards. We heard Luke Rogan there with that referee, Mike, the fourth member of our crew.
Yeah, just messy ball there. I thought it was interesting how the Hounds decided to play the ball out a few more phases in their own 22. Of course, I mean, they've got the cushion, right? So why not? I thought I saw some space on the bottom of your screen originally, but much easier for me to say that watching down.
Right. You saw one of those shots there. Santiago Videla, Chilean international. And I mentioned the championship. You can get your tickets now by scanning that QR code on your screen. Videla's only scored 300-plus points for Chile. I mean, what a pickup that was. Is incredibly courageous. Takes a lot of heart, a lot of guts, a lot of strength, a lot of determination, and a lot of sacrifice. Here's California now, trying to put something together. The dangerous Lance Williams. He scored in the first half. And here's a chance now in California. They'll break through and get this one down as Webster. You got to play until you hear the whistle. And that's a smart play from Webster. There's nothing wrong with that. And California didn't like it, but you've got to put, to your point, if you're watching the first time, you've got to touch that ball to ground. And Webster went in there. The ball was not down yet.
Of course, just protecting each of their own teammates there, but it's a great point, Ben. I mean, look, you're going to put that pressure down. I think at first, no one really knew what happened, so let's take another look here. Big carry from Williams, able to get several meters, and then Timpson just picks it off right in the ruck. Brock Webster was pleading something. So let's look here.
Yep.
This is the carry. This is the ruck brought in. And I don't know. Look, Timpson takes that ball, takes it home, and Webster just doesn't like that. And I think because he just dove so low to the ground at the ankles, his teammates, the Legion teammates, are not going to like that. But California, a good carry, of course, from a leader like Williams. Can they get a bonus point? That's what they're after right now. There's still a lot to play for in these last 15 minutes.
Yeah, and as we just mentioned, only 10 matches. Those points are even more magnified and important this season. Kick off the mark as it drifted to the right. And there's Timpson, who he is an energy guy. So is Lance Williams. He's an absolute warrior. And look at what he's done in this match, Bree.
Well, we saw him on the attack just now, but look at the defense stats. Tackles made 18, has only missed 3. This guy is one of the mainstays of Major League Rugby. Of course, he's also Paris 2024 Olympian. And he's someone that the Legion really looks to kind of bridge the cultural groups of this very diverse squad. They look to him for everything on and off the field.
Played a lot of sevens, too, in his career for the USA men's sevens. He's a well-rounded player, and, man, he was a heck of a football player in college. Played for Norm Chow. Him and I always joke. He said, man, the first time you ever said that, my dad got so excited. He was an unbelievable linebacker in Hawaii back in the day playing for Norm Chow, and now he's converted, and he's a rugby player through and through. Whistled here by Luke Rogan here. 68th minute, there's Lance Williams. And we talked to Steve Hoyles. We did their match in round 1, and just talking about the importance of him, what he brings, the Polynesian culture. There's so many guys of his descent. He's big in that way too, but he's big in every sense in the room.
Yeah, look, I mean, the MLR is hard because you're trying to bring together so many different styles of rugby on a team, and then you've got just the cultures that you've got to bridge, as you were just saying. Yeah. And you know, there's a big Islander representation on this team, and he really helps to bring that to the squad.
So here's Michael Baska. We were told earlier that Ruben de Haas went up the tunnel. Maybe Cords can update us if he's in the dugout down there, staying out of the rain, but he went up the tunnel a few minutes ago, did de Haas, and Certainly a critical piece to Chris Latham in the Chicago franchise and for the USA franchise as well. But no need to worry about that for a while. They don't play till July.
Get our gaps right. Yep. I understand. I understand.
50 points are in reach here tonight for the Chicago Hounds side. And look up in that coaching box, and that's Chris Latham, the former Wallaby on the right. 40 tries in his international career, second all time.
And it's funny because you would never know it. When we talk to him,
humble.
He doesn't want to talk about himself as a player. He just wants to talk about his players.
And he was teammates with Steve Hoyles, head coach of California. Here they come with speed. That was Videla, big physical specimen. He is still charging toward the line, trying to get home. Santiago Videla, he powers his way in. He is put together, and he wanted that, and he got it. And the Hounds with 46 on the board. That is Videla's first try in 26.
How good first as a Hound. But just look at the bodies and just how the tempo with which the Hounds are playing. It's all gas, no brakes. Videla picks it up right off of the ruck, kind of like what we just saw with California. Make them keep guessing, and he just is able to get lower than any of the other California bodies. So he's able to get that ball onto the ground. Rogan awards a try.
That is big-time stuff. His 25th cap in Major League Rugby. Now with 125 points. And he's going to take the kick. Again, he scored over 300 points for Chile. Watched him in 2 matches last year against Samoa, and he was dominant in those matches. And he is a world-class player, as you see there with that strike, making it look so easy. So Santiago Videla, he takes full boat, Bree, gets all 7 there.
Love that, and love seeing the soaked, absolutely soaked towel there.
They love their team.
Oh, the fans out in full force. Doesn't matter what the weather conditions are. They will show up for these boys, and welcome to Dogtown.
Yeah, you talked earlier about the Chicago way. That's the mantra for this Hounds side. And Chris Latham telling us last week, he said that philosophy holds our team accountable to standards and values we draw on the city's tough history and themes like big shoulders, what Chicago is known for. And looks like Rogan here is looking at another play here. Something being questioned here on that last passage of play as Santiago Videla took that in. There's the California coaching box. Steve Hoyles on the left without the hat. Any idea here, Bree?
Well, it looks like they were looking at the ruck where Videla picked up right before he scored, and they're just trying to slow it down, and they're trying a few different angles on the Jumbotron, but I think it's going to be tough to see.
Just look back. You're talking right there. You think that's what they're looking at?
And I think the Legion have put a challenge in. Hence the review.
Yeah.
Difficult to say whether it was at that ruck or if it was the actual grounding, because I know there were a few Legion players on the ground that were protesting the grounding, but Rogan now coming to the midfield with a decision.
We will get the verdict from the well-experienced and well-traveled Luke Rogan.
Following the charge by it is deemed that the player has placed the ball, released, got back up to his feet, picked it up, try stand. California lose their review. No reviews remaining.
All right, well, you heard it there. So it was that breakdown. When you get tackled, you have to release the ball. You can play it again, but you have to show the clear release. So Legion was challenging that one because they didn't think there was a clear release. They deemed it, or they believed that it was unfair to them. But Rogan saw a clear release, so fair play to Chicago. And now Legion has no more challenges in these last 10 minutes. And Hounds keep that try.
And Videla playing like a man possessed. He had that carry before that breakdown, and look at him get down there now. So fun to watch, number 23. Santiago Videla, 41 caps with Chile. 336 points he's put up in his international career. California now in a massive hole here, inside of 10 to go in the match. Outside ball, nicely done. Joey Mano, 14 tries a season ago, weaving his way, dancing around bodies, gets to halfway. He's always a home run threat, but we saw him again that round 1 match. He was pretty silent in that match. They get him going. That could make this team even more dangerous.
Well, and I think the conditions, again, I know I sound like a broken record, but the Legion love to stretch it wide and unleash those guys. We saw that in the first match, but they just have not been able to do that when they first started that last passage of play. If you looked out on the whole field, they were so compressed. They just really did not have any options, and that's why we haven't been calling him so much.
Yeah. He is a threat every time he touches the pill. Chase Jones checking in. We'll lock up here. Put in coming here for Michael Baska.
So looks like there is an HIA on Timpson. At least I thought I heard the referee say that.
Yeah. Appears to be the case. Some discussion in our chat between you and the studio in terms of player of the match. Would you care to show or give any inklings on who that might be, or a couple candidates?
Well, I think it had to be, or has to be, someone who has just kept the play alive for Chicago, has been able to really solidify each breakdown, protecting the ball for his side. So, look, I think, you know, it's got to be someone in the forward. It's got to be
point mark. 48-17 here as we approach the 74th minute. Lepetti, quick ball on, played. Big hit there by California. Kick down inside of Chicago territory, and the chase is on. Legion trying to get in there. Great job. They hustle down and make that play, get in there. On a day where Rory McIlroy won the Masters, Rory Van Voot comes through and makes a nice play for the Legion.
That was a huge effort there, just sliding across this wet pitch. And can they make points out of this possession?
They are putting a big push on here, are the California Legion. Work back now. Now it's Mano. We mentioned him earlier, and Joe Mano takes it in and touches down. And Mano, with his first try of the season for the Legion, just like that, he gets into the try zone.
Oh, his ears were burning. And we talked about, I mean, he's the one that gets the 5 points to his name, but it all started with Van Voot. How about that for an individual effort? Just completely shrugs Webster out of the way.
A masterful play on Masters Sunday.
And then Lance Williams, a little dummy there, just a little bit of nice footwork, and that traps the winger Tidwell. It opens up more space for Mano. Just take a look right here again. Makes Tidwell have to step in because Williams was such a threat. Ball still in both hands, and then as soon as he bit in, there's a nice little easy pass to Mano to finish it off.
And the kick from Milne, that is not an easy kick. And Kobe Milne drilling that one. There's a good look at Joe Mano. Multiple years with Utah, and so close last year, lost in the conference final. Of course, their franchise went away. Big signing for California.
Big signing for California, and I mean that Utah connection out on the wing with his teammate Lance Williams, dishing it off there.
Now that's a hat.
That's a nice hat.
That's Chicago right there.
That should be someone, whoever's sitting in the dog, the
well,
little
Corbs is in there now.
Get that on Alex Corb's head.
We're looking across the way, but the rain has wreaked havoc on some of the equipment, unfortunately, tonight. So we see Corbs waving from the doghouse. Maybe we can get a shot of him down there in the sin bin, that doghouse the Hounds have. Knocked on, goes over to Chicago here in the 76th minute.
Yeah, as we take a look at the scrum, just note we did see Ed Timpson coming off, and you know, if you're looking at the California guys, you're probably a little confused as to why Joe Tafetee is back out there. And it's because the HIA, Timpson comes off, Sugars comes back on, and Tafetee comes back on, because you can only have certain guys come in back into the front row. It's all about who has the knowledge and has the abilities to be able to do that to ensure safe play.
Penalty on California. Down came that potential scrum. You heard Luke Rogan, arms pulling it down, collapsing it. So the kick from the Hounds to set them up. They're chasing that 50 burger. 2 points away, leading 48-24 here. See Casares in there. Lucas Rumble there. He is one tough dude. He's Canadian, but he exemplifies, Brie Kim, everything that the city of Chicago is about.
I mean, he is the heart and soul of this team. He is your player of the match. I mean, he has 2 tries to his name tonight, and we saw both of those tries were really just individual efforts from him. I mean, the scrum worked really hard to get him there, but just the power and the physicality to take it off the scrum and shrug off multiple defenders, that's just the heart, and that's the leadership on the field. Rumble, so deserving of player of the match.
Indeed, and he added offensively tonight. 23rd minute try, put Chicago up 10-7. Then he had one in the 35th minute that gave him the bonus point. And of course, last week, you look back at what Mason Flesh did. So those guys, those second row guys, those back row guys, getting it done for the Hounds, contributing offensively too.
I mean, arguably the best back row in the league.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's take another look.
With Flesh, Jones, and Rumble.
And I don't think you could kind of hear Rogan as he goes and looks, just to finish off that thought, Ben. The back row, I mean, these guys, right, you just said it, Flesh and Rumble scoring multiple tries over the last few weeks, just getting it done on the attack, which is awesome because they never get the shout-outs because they're always making all of those tackles. They're always in the breakdown trying to slow it down or steal that ball, and that kind of work doesn't get a lot of recognition, so good to see the points to them.
Here's what we're looking back. Right there, they're saying that taking the man out in the air is what's being looked at here. And there's a good look at it from the tri-zone there down to our left.
And so you can see Casares waving to the referee. So as the jumpers go up, take a look at 4 for California. He gets in the way, taking the jumper out, Casares. Take another look there. Not going for the ball, and that's what Casares is pleading for. So they're going to take a look at that picture. Is that in fact what Rogan saw?
Chicago challenging here. Now, you have an unsuccessful challenge in the 35th or later or 75th or later, you would lose any other challenges. So let's see what the word is here.
Following team challenge, Chicago determined that the ball is not straight, and that's the first infringement. There is no foul play. We'll play the scrum. Chicago lose their challenges.
There you have it. As I just mentioned, that's what happens.
Yeah, and so there's actually the not straight call, and you can see Legion just frustrated there.
Yep. So the front rows are going to lock up here in the 78th minute. Just over 2.5 minutes remaining in full time here in this match. It's going to be a second win in 2 matches for Chris Latham in Chicago. They went 11-5 last year. Came up a penalty kick, final play of the match, short of going to the final. They are a loaded team this year. Here's California now, the Legion, trying to work onto their own 22. California next week, they'll continue their California tour. They'll play on the campus of UCLA for their next home match. That'll be their 3rd home match already. They played in Orange County when we were there, and then they played at Torero, and now going to UCLA. In Chicago now, trying to take this one back. They still want 50.
100%. And the fact that they've doubled California's score, I mean, that
impressive.
is emphatic. That sends signals across the league if it hasn't already. I mean, they are a strong squad. And next week, Ben, it's going to be a rematch of that Eastern Conference final versus the New England Free Jacks, who have not had the start that they would have wanted. It's going to be quite the revenge game for Chicago.
That's going to be a desperate team of New England Free Jacks coming in, coached by Ryan Martin. They are going to have to get their stuff together. Again, just 10 matches knocked on here, says Rogan by Chicago. Goes over to California here. Nashville for that one. You and I will be there with Corbs. It's an afternoon start. So now it'll be Sunday night, Sunday afternoon / night rugby.
Yeah, well, if you're watching in Europe, that's Sunday night.
Yeah, it'll be all true. Good point. I mean, the NHL's done that. They're playing games in the afternoon, so European and overseas audiences can do it. Of course, this sport doesn't get much more global than rugby, right?
Oh, and I think it's really cool that they're bringing it to Nashville. There's a lot of good rugby down there in Nashville, in Memphis, and just around the southern United States. So really exciting to see rugby being brought to other parts of the country where people want to see this play live.
Joe Tafatea there with the head wrap, the blood over his eye, the warrior gladiator mentality he's got. What a career Joe's had. Mike Petrie talked about him earlier, and at one time he was one of the top 5 hookers on the planet from a tier 2 country. That is one heck of a statement. He's had an amazing career. Pulled out by the Legion here, coming down the final seconds. We've hit 80 minutes here in the match. Taz Smith in there by his counterpart, Baska. Penalty called against Chicago. Here comes Smith now, takes a look. California will drop to 1-2 on the season, losing in round 1 to Anthem. Just dismantling New England last week in round 2, and now they're getting a dose of that medicine here tonight against an outstanding Chicago side. It will improve to 2-0. Tafatea with it, puts his head down, goes into the mass of humanity. Smith to it. Smith again freeing that ball down off the turf. Mono out there against Tidwell, who's wearing the 11 shirt tonight. Noah Brown unable to go for Chicago. Tidwell, a veteran of this league. Well-traveled, can contribute for you in a variety of ways at that left wing position wearing the number 11. 80 seconds past the 80-minute mark here so far as California continues this passage here. Outside edge, Mono trying to split free, can't. Into touch, he goes, and there's Tidwell on cue, making the game and match-ending play on Joey Mono. And the Chicago Hounds have been released. A 48-24 victory for the Hounds, an impressive showing here tonight on Sunday Night Rugby. Luke White there on the right. And the Hounds will celebrate this one. 48-24, Chicago improves to 2-0. California drops to 1-2. For Bree Kim, Alex Corbacero, Ben Holden saying thanks for watching Sunday Night Rugby. The post-match portion of the broadcast comes up next.
Well, we are back here in the Sunday Night Rugby studio. We have just witnessed Chicago Hounds take a big bite out of California Legion in the first Sunday Night Rugby game here in MLR 2026. I'm joined here in the New York studio myself, Will Hooley, alongside my fellow co-host Claudia Bellafato and USA Rugby Hall of Famer Mike Petrie. We have plenty to discuss from that excellent win. Lucas Rumble, he was phenomenal. The Canadian star and the Chicago Hounds captain was worthy to be mentioned as one of the players of the match. Claudia, it's been an evening. We got through it. What a game.
We got through it. What a game. You saw the smiles, of course, on those Chicago players' faces. And I'm sure they're very relieved because that first half we talked about, the story of the first half was penalties for them. Story of the second half, Mike, had to be the weather conditions. Heavy rain, and that led to a game style that really favored the Hounds.
Yeah, I mean, it really did. And it came up very, very early in the open. And I'll be the first to admit, Claudia, I'm going to eat a bit of humble pie here. I'm the one that was back in California all the way. And Claudia, I may know the rugby world a little bit more, but you won this one out today for sure. I mean, it was definitely the type of gameplay that favored Chicago. We talked about the structure that they had going into this. We talked about Ruben De Haas and the type of style that he plays. And, I mean, you look at all the tries they scored. They were all in really tight. There was a lot of pick and goes around the fringes. It played right into Chicago's game plan. Whereas California, I mean, we didn't even call Bertrand's name really at all when we were broadcasting that first bit. I mean, and that's not a good sign. And we didn't call Billy Meeks' name at all. So really, they never had a chance to find rhythm or get themselves into any sort of groove in the style of play that they like.
No, I honestly didn't think that at all. And in terms of what California Legion would be frustrated about is they never fired a shot. And that was the thing in the second half where Chicago just was so good.
Yeah, you look at the meters carried, too. It was real lopsided in that first half. Legion did come back a bit, but 699 the meters for Chicago versus 547 in the end. Possession battle, 51-49, so not too big of a difference. But like we said, it was really a story of two halves. Because in the first, it looked like the Legion weren't going to stay in it. Chicago ended up pulling away for the big win at home for Chicago on Sunday Night Rugby. More post-game reaction for you on the other side.